to the world. Welcome to Belgro's Funeral Home, where we celebrate life's precious moments. From the moment you enter our doors, you're met with kindness and care. Our reception area is designed to be more than just a waiting room. It is a place of calm, thoughtfully created to ease the weight of grief. In our private conference room, conversations are guided by empathy. Here, our client experience coordinators sit beside you, not just across the table, to help plan a service that truly reflects your loved one's story. Whether it's a traditional farewell or a personalized celebration of life, we take time to understand your wishes and offer thoughtful guidance. At the heart of our organization is a dedicated manager who ensures that everything runs smoothly, from the smallest detail to the final farewell. We understand that choosing a casket or a coffin is a deeply personal decision. In our selection room, we provide a calm, respectful environment where families can take their time and explore options that reflect their loved one's life, beliefs, and preference. Our spacious chapel is where memories are honored and lives are celebrated. Designed with serenity and warmth, it provides a welcoming space for families and friends to come together in reflection and remembrance. For families choosing cremation, we offer on-site professional cremation services in a setting that upholds dignity, peace, and confidentiality. Our crematorium offers a seamless and respectful alternative to traditional burial, giving families flexibility while maintaining the highest standard of care.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, the 27th day of October 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. It is not the day after, but 2 days after. We were not here yesterday, but we are here today. It's right after the Tobago October Carnival celebrations. And we want to know, how was your carnival season? Remember, you can leave your comments at our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel to give us updates as to how you spent the carnival period, the carnival season, what activities you got involved in, what were your highlights, what are your recommendations moving forward. There were a number of people here on the island of Tobago, and I know that our businesses did exceedingly well. So I must say, congratulations to the Tobago Festivals Commission. They put on an excellent season, and all the stakeholders who joined in to ensure that the Tobago October Carnival was a successful season. Well, we do hope that you could join us for our conversations this morning to be a part of what we're going to be talking about here on the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. Remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel at Tobago Updates. But before we get into those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, 28 October 2025. The fourth edition of the Tobago's October Carnival, featuring Juve, Night Mass and Parade of the Bands, drew record crowds as each event was a smooth, incident-free celebration through the streets of Scarborough. Police Commissioner Alista Guerrero praised the festivities as pure niceness, commending officers for outstanding crowd control. The largest band, Fog Angels with Wild Wild West, attracted approximately 6,000 participants. Temporary Secretary of Culture Zarisha Hackett lauded the festival's remarkable growth, noting that many visitors choose Tobago over Miami Carnival. However, Tobago Festival's CEO Kern Cowan credited improved route management for easing congestion and ensuring a vibrant, seamless flow to the island's Carnival weekend. Up next, a reef tour at Tobago's Nylon Pool ended in an alarm with the Rush Hour glass-bottom boat partially sunk last Saturday. The vessel, which left Pigeon Point Jetty with 65 passengers, began experiencing difficulty after additional partygoers from nearby boats boarded, causing the rear of the boat to dip below water. Pirogue operators quickly assisted in removing passengers from the vessel. Investigations into the incident are ongoing and no injuries were reported. And finally, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has announced that the government will seek Parliament's approval to extend the current state of emergency following recommendations from the Commissioner of Police Alista Guerrero and the National Security Council. Speaking on a popular viewed program, Persad-Bissessar announced that the motion to extend the SOE beyond its October 28 deadline has been placed on Parliament's order paper for debate on October 31st. The extension requires a 3/5 majority in both houses. The SOE, first declared on July 18th and later extended on July 28th, was implemented in response to reports of dangerous criminal network targeting state officials. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And this morning we start off the celebration by saying happy birthday to Alexandria Stewart. She celebrated her birthday on the 26th of October, and we want to say a special happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful birthday as you enter into this new season and this new phase of your life. We also say happy birthday to Ocean George. Ocean George, belated birthday greetings coming from Rhea and Oswald George and the rest of his family. Yes, Ocean is having a wonderful birthday season, I do hope, and I pray God's richest blessings upon your life as you enter this new phase, this new chapter, this new season of your life. I pray God's richest blessings upon your life, and I do hope that you find love, peace, joy, and fulfillment of purpose in this new season. Delissa Rollocks is also celebrating a birthday, and we say happy birthday to Delissa Rollocks, and we pray God's blessings upon your life, Delissa. We do hope that God continues to bless you and guide you and show you the way, and we do hope that as you enter this new phase that you experience the love that comes with celebrating a birthday. So happy birthday to you. Kashika Small, also a belated birthday. I believe she celebrated over the weekend. So we also say happy belated birthday to you, Kashika. And as you enter this new season, this new chapter, this new phase, that you find fulfillment of purpose, that you find peace, love, and joy. And that, of course, you are embraced with love. And as challenges arise, you find the wisdom and the strength to overcome them and to show up as your best, authentic self. So happy belated birthday to you as well. And finally, Mr. Sherlon Ansel Baker, who also celebrating a birthday today. And we say happy birthday to you, Ansel. We pray God's richest blessings upon your life. And we do hope that your birthday is amazing. And we hope that you are able to enjoy all the love that comes with celebrating a birthday. So we say happy birthday to you all. And remember, even though we do not have your photographs, and if you are celebrating a birthday or any type of celebration that you are having, we join in the celebrations with you and remind you to put God first. Because remember, He is the sole reason why there's anything for you to celebrate. So you might be wondering, who are we having conversations with this morning in studio? As you are aware, there's a hurricane developing in Jamaica, and of course we want to get some details as to the status of Jamaica, and of course the students of the UWI Mona campus who we have resident there at this point in time. So we're going to have conversations this morning with Melinda Alfred. She's the Tobago representative of the Trinidad and Tobago Student Association, as she brings that update to us this morning. We also speak with Major Myrna Riley Devines of Jamaican Defense Force to also bring her perspective on the status of Hurricane Melissa and the status of the island of Jamaica as well as it relates to that occurrence. And then we speak with Loma Stewart in terms of the October Carnival experience. As you are aware, we just concluded the Tobago October Carnival 4th edition, and of course we must get an update in terms of how the carnival played out for the persons who participated, as well as the stakeholders and everybody who had a hand in the Tobago October Carnival. And remember, we want to hear from you as well. We want you to be a part of the conversation. So you can remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel at Tobago Updates. And remember, we are also on AMPLIA 102, Floor 121 and 130. And of course, we are on Digicel on channel 33. So join us on any one of these platforms, any one of these medium, and be a part of our conversation this morning. But before we get into all of that, we have to head on over to a break. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. It's who we are and the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. Whether you are a mid-sized business or multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Melinda Alfred. She is the Tobago representative of the Trinidad and Tobago Student Association in Jamaica, and we're talking about the impact of Hurricane Melissa on our students there in Jamaica. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Melissa. Good morning and welcome. And of course, we want to get into the conversation this morning, talking about the situation and the status, rather, of our students who are in Jamaica at this point in time during the period of Hurricane Melissa. Tell us first and foremost, what are the weather conditions like currently as you are there?
Currently, it's heavy rainfall, consistent, strong winds, consistent heavy rainfall. As of right now, on Mona, we know that the trees just have been falling since last night, early this morning. But to say flooding or anything, it has not yet, or hopefully not, or will not be happening.
All right. And so we know that it is important that our students remain safe anyone remains safe rather in these types of conditions. And of course, we're talking now about the fact that we have a number of students from Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, primarily Tobago, that are on the island of Jamaica and who have not been able to come home during this time, which of course is considerably a time of concern. So tell us the status. How many students do we have from Tobago that are still on the island of Tobago wanting to come home and are unable to so do?
Well, you said still on the island of Tobago. As of right now, 13 students we do know have reached back home. And in the group that we have currently, we have 84 persons. Hi, are you hearing me?
Right, Melissa, we're having some connectivity challenges, but from what I believe I heard is that you said 13 persons came back to Tobago and we still have 84 on the island of Jamaica?
Yes, that we can account within the group. We have, I've created a Google Sheets where persons can then add their names from that group chat. We've had 54 persons fill that out. Chief Secretary has sent me names of, because it's not just persons on Mona, we have students from UTEC, USC, Montego Bay, also have students in education as well as high schoolers here in Jamaica, and I have been given a list from the Chief Secretary with some names of the high schoolers. They do know of other children or students, but no contact to them. We do know we have some persons unaccounted for, and I still try to get those.
Melissa, as I mentioned before, connectivity challenges on my end. I'm struggling to hear your sentences completely, but I think what you just said is that you have not been able to make contact with all the students in Jamaica?
Yes, because we have students outside of Mona. We have students at UTEC and other tertiary education institutions. We also have teens here studying at several high schools.
And in terms of communication with the Tobago House of Assembly, what is the conversation looking like in terms of trying to get our students to a safe place or even coming back to Tobago at this point in time?
We have been in contact with the actually he is our group chat. He has been communicating with us since Saturday when he was in this news and made aware of this. He then did a meeting with all students, all Tobagonian students, where he also gave us an update. Can be done. Well, I can further add to that actually. He also stated once Kane has hit and it has been deemed catastrophic, he will be flying to Jamaica and flying all of his students out. That is one. He also had me gather a person's financial information or banking information. So if needed, monetary aid can be sent to persons once this hurricane passes. And he also wanted persons of the Wimona campus to then gather at a space together to be placed at a hotel, but persons further stated that they are safe where they are, and if needs be, they would contact me and I would then contact the chief and persons he has put me in contact with.
And what is the plan, Melissa, to ensure that you are able to reach the other students that you are not being able to account for? Because, I mean, we're talking about lives here, and we want to ensure that we are able to have the head count to know that people are safe, they are accounted for, we know where they are. And even in terms of the relief that the Chief Secretary has committed to, we want to ensure that we account for everybody. Is there a plan in place? What is the strategy in terms of identifying the persons who you have not been able to make contact with and to contact them?
As of right now, with the group chat, we are urging persons to add their friends that they know. Here, I'm also contacting each of the high schoolers individually and then also asking them to then send their contacts of friends that are here from Tobago. But most persons, because, different country, they have changed their contact information. So they have changed their Trinidad and Tobago phone numbers to gun phone numbers here as well. So to say that I can definitely reach them, it would be a lie.
And so in terms of the relief that the Chief Secretary has committed to, how soon do you expect to receive the type of relief that you mentioned earlier? I mean, as I said before, the communication was a little bit distorted, but from what I heard, you're hoping for monetary support, hotel accommodation to get all the persons who are not on Mona to be together in one space, and of course flights coming back to Tobago. How soon do you expect that this type of mobilization will start taking place?
Okay, we have been given aid because the Chief Sec reached out to the High Commission here, the High Commission of Trinidad and Tobago that is here in Jamaica, and the Councillor of the High Commission, Miss Amanda, has reached out to me. I created a form that persons chose what food they would be, one for the care packages that we made, and that was delivered on Sunday on Youth and Uimona. For those who lived off campus, the food was also delivered to them via Uber.
And in terms of your state of mind, Melissa, because I know, yes, your state of mind right now, tell us how you, tell us how you feel in terms of being away from home and being in a situation that, you're not with family. I mean, yes, you have friends there and other people from Tobago who are going through the same thing with you, and, you're trying to put these efforts into place to ensure that you are able to come back home or at least feel some measure of comfort. What is your state of mind in terms of coordinating this together with the Tobago House of Assembly to ensure that you guys are in a proper safe space, as safe as it can be as it relates to, you know, the impact of Hurricane Melissa?
As of right now, are you hearing me?
Yes.
All I can do is stay strong, you know, trust in God. I am urging persons to please reach out to your family here. You know, please be encouraging. Try to comfort them as well, because we have never experienced a hurricane before. And I do know that persons are anxious. How will they not be? But please be encouraging. Please be understanding. Please reach out and please pray for us all, by extension, all nationals here as well.
All
We are
right.
trying to stay strong, and we believe we'll get over this.
Yes, we certainly will. And of course, you know, we continue to pray for you, and we will follow up with the relief that is expected from the Tobago House of Assembly. And we do hope that you are able to identify and locate the other members from Tobago who you have not been able to identify just yet. And that we are able to... Sorry, Melinda, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make something clear that we have received relief as it pertains to food, non-perishable. Secretary organized that for us, one, and the financial aid or grants to be sent once seen, well, after this hurricane, once evident that things have been catastrophic. The chief secretary has then put, and as he said, catastrophic will bang us out. But if things are not okay, we'll aid once necessary.
All right, we continue to pray for you guys, and we continue to follow up. All right, connection issues, of course, I'm sure is relative to the weather there in Jamaica. Sorry, Melinda, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, also, parents have been reaching out. One of the parents also has gotten food items to be sent by Wednesday for 400 students. So that includes all Trinidadian students and Tobagonian students that are accounted for, with remainder from the Global Empowerment Mission.
All right. Well, Melinda, sorry, we will remain in contact with you as the situation progresses, of course, to ensure that you guys are well taken care of. And we must say thank you, of course, to the Tobago House of Assembly and the Chief Secretary for the intervention and for the relief you already received and the relief you are hoping to continue to get as you go through this time. Stay safe. Stay safe to all the members who are on that group chat that we are here and we are praying for you. You are in our thoughts and our prayers, and we will continue to keep in touch to ensure that you guys are as safe as possible. So thank you very much for giving us that update, and we continue to be your support on this end. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Miss Melinda Alfred. She is the Tobago representative for the students who are in Jamaica at this point in time. Of course, she has said that there are 84 students right now. 13 of them came back to Tobago so far, and the others are still there. And of course, still trying to find the contact for the others, forming a group chat, and of course, encouraging their friends to add the persons who they know to the chat so that we know the numbers. Relief has already gone across there in terms of food items, non-perishable food items, as well as the expectation for financial relief as well. And if need be, then they will come back to Tobago. The Chief Secretary has promised that he will ensure that they get back to Tobago should need arise. So that is the situation there in Jamaica with our Tobago students. We are making efforts to ensure that they remain safe, that they are taken care of, and that they form community so that they don't feel alone there. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations here this morning in studio. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago, are you ready to light up the night? Join us for the Lambo Credit Union's Moonlight Miles for Diabetes Glow Walk 2025.
On Saturday, November 15th at Cano Bay Nature Resort, we'll walk, glow, and raise awareness for a healthier tomorrow.
From 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. Bring your family and friends for plenty glow energy.
Registration is just $180 per person, or grab your crew of 5 for only $150 each.
Sign up online or at Lambo Credit Union branches before October 31st.
For more registration and payment details, visit lambocreditunion.com and search Moonlight Miles today.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Presenting the mashup king himself, DJ Kai, alongside the voice of the people, Boy Boy. The dynamic duo bringing pure fire to the road, CSI Khaled and Selecta Stefan. And Tobago's own, the people's champion, DJ Big Youth. This is Neon Night Mass. One road, one rhythm, one experience. Tobago Carnival 2025. We outside.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy, for queens who know exactly what they want.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Yes, and we are back with our conversations, and we have on the line Major Myrna Riley Devines of the Jamaica Defense Force, and they're going to give us an update on the situation in Jamaica as it relates to Hurricane Melissa. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Wonderful. All right, so as it relates to Hurricane Melissa, as of this morning, overnight, we had quite a lot of wind and rain, but not very heavy. It's just been very consistent. It is expected to hit us at 1100 hours, which is 11 a.m. today. And so we are still preparing for that. What of note is that we have this flat bridge. Persons who maybe do some research in Jamaica will know about our flat bridge. That's totally submerged in water at this point in time, so it's impassable. However, over Kingston right now, it's just slight drizzles. The wind are settling down, and but we are bracing for the effects because it's expected to hit us at Category 5.
Major, I know that the Jamaican government would have issued evacuation orders for all those coastal villages and settlements. How has the response been from the general public in terms of heeding those warnings and those evacuation orders?
Well, some persons have made move. Of course, some persons are slow to do the movement. You know how people generally are. But I don't have a full update on that as yet. So we will see what is happening. The Jamaica Defense Forces, however, one of our primary response persons, and so the JDF is ready. We've been getting ready, and we are ready to assist with the, or to lead the disaster, because JDF normally leads the disaster response in the island. So we are ready to stand and do our role, which is to protect the persons of Jamaica.
You said that the Jamaica Defense Force is ready. Could you just expound on that and tell us in what means and what terms you all are ready in?
All right, so I am not an official spokesperson of the JDF, notwithstanding the fact that I'm a major. So consequently, I am not going to take on that role of giving official information from the JDF because I'm not an official spokesperson in this disaster for the JDF. However, what I can say is that we have our disaster assistance response team, which is our DART team, and the JDF is also providing support to other, have joined with other ministries as well, like the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the Office of Disaster, the Office of Disaster Preparation and Management there. And so we are working with all the agencies. But as I indicated, I'm not an official spokesperson of the Jamaica Defense Force. I just want to say that the Jamaica Defense Force is ready to work and to lead in the disaster response because we take our role of protecting the citizens of Jamaica quite seriously.
Major, you mentioned earlier that the flat bridge is impassable. Are there alternative? Is it, first of all, is it an area that usually has heavy traffic? And if so, is there an alternative route or alternative routes that people can take, those who have to access that area or areas that are beyond the flat bridge area?
Yes. It is an area that normally, it's an area in St. Catherine, and it goes across the Ryokobre River. However, there are alternate routes. Persons do not have to travel across Flatbridge. There are other routes that they can travel to move from the Linstead area into Spanish Town area, those areas. So there's a highway, so they can go on the bypass. And well, I don't really think that they should go through the Sligoville area because that's a hilly area, and with the slow rain, we may have landslides there. And that's another thing that because the rain has been coming down not in heavy downpours, it will saturate the earth quicker because of the downpours that's coming, so it's not running off. And so there are areas that may be prone to heavy landslides, large landslides, etc. But we are trusting in the Lord to take us through this. I mean, it's another couple of hours from my time here because it's 6:34 in Jamaica now. So we anticipating another 4.5 hours or so if Melissa continues on the trail that she is going, that we should be feeling the brunt of it. As I said before, it seems to be heading directly Kingston and into the Negril Point. It was 115 miles away from Kingston, 75 miles away from Negril Point, and that was at 5 this morning. So we will see what happens, but we remain trusting in the Lord that He has taken us through other things before, and He will definitely take us through. If you can see outside my window, it's calm right now. Nothing much. The trees are not really blowing much outside there.
And at the beginning of our interview, I was looking outside your window. That was going to be my first comment, that outside seems to be pretty bright at this time of the morning. And I know in some other areas, earlier this morning, we spoke with one of our students from Tobago who is in Jamaica, and they were talking about the rainfall. In fact, she even mentioned that trees fell in the area where she was located. So, I was just about to say that, aren't we lucky? Because you also mentioned that we're going to pray. And one thing about Caribbean people, we always know when to turn to God, especially in times of crisis. So I do hope, of course, that, you receive the wisdom to approach this situation, as it were, because sometimes hurricanes are so unpredictable. You might have the reports on the meteorological office in terms of what might happen, but to stand ready, as you mentioned before, that the Defense Force is ready to take action. And I know my co-host has another question that he wants to ask, another part of the conversation he wants to bring in, so I'll hand back over to him now.
Okay.
Major, yes. I just wanted to ask you in terms of the feeling of persons in Jamaica, the general public, because I know in the past, Hurricanes Andrew and Gilbert were some pretty significant hurricanes that passed through Jamaica. And they're stating that this could be possibly the strongest hurricane to ever hit Jamaica. So is there a sense of some sort of nervousness amongst the population, or is there a calm preparedness?
I would want to think there's a calm preparedness. I think people are very conscious of the fact that this may be the worst hurricane if it continues on its trajectory. And, just yesterday, or maybe the discussion before yesterday has been going on that this is 37 years, the last one that really hit us real bad was Gilbert in 1988, and that's 37 years ago. And before that was Charlie, which was 1951, which is another 37 years before Gilbert came. And so persons are looking at the fact that this may be one of the worst hurricane, and people are prepared. People have been going to the supermarket, battening down their places. People have just been very busy preparing. Jamaicans are a praying people, and like all Caribbean people, And so, notwithstanding the fact that there are areas of nervousness, persons are generally bracing themselves and are, as I said before, keep trusting that notwithstanding what the weather forecast is, while we prepare, because it's important to be prepared, we are also trusting that the Lord will somehow divert Melissa. And if she is not diverted, that He will protect us in the midst of the storm.
That's right. That's right. And of course, we, the rest of the Caribbean, we stand with you as well, because we know that this is not an easy time. And so we will stay tuned and keep following up with the progress of the hurricane and, of course, the status of lives in Jamaica. We are hoping, of course, that it remains safe for everyone, that you are in a safe space. As you said, the protective services remain prepared and that they are able to execute well, that the persons respond to the instructions from the Defense Force and all the other agencies who are there to protect and serve. And of course, that at the end of it all, that Jamaica will continue to stand strong. We here in Trinidad and Tobago and also Tobago, we are standing with you as well, and we will continue following up on the details as this develops. So thank you so much for joining us this morning and for bringing that information to us. And we will stay in touch and we will, of course, inform the people of the Caribbean as to what is happening there in Jamaica. So thank you so much and stay safe.
Thank you so much for having me as well. And I continue to pray for all of us across the Caribbean because we never know what Melissa will do. But God is good and we trust Him. So thanks again for having me, and you all be safe as well.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we continue to follow the developments of Hurricane Melissa, now at Category 5. And we are hoping, of course, that lives are not impacted by this and that all the preparations will yield. And most importantly, what we really want is for Hurricane Melissa to blow over, that there wouldn't be much, if any at all, damages in Jamaica, whether to our own people or the residents of Jamaica, people who are, just there at this point in time. We pray for the very, very best. We continue to bring you coverage right here on Tobago Updates Television. Remember, you can comment on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel at Tobago Updates. And you can also catch us on AMPLIA 102, Floor 121 or 130, and of course on Digicel on channel 33. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations here in studio this morning. And as we go, we invite you to help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Tobago, are you ready to light up the night? Join us for the Lambo Credit Union's Moonlight Miles for Diabetes Glow Walk 2025.
On Saturday, November 15th at Cano Bay Nature Resort, we'll walk, glow, and raise awareness for a healthier tomorrow.
From 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. Bring your family and friends for plenty glow energy.
Registration is just $180 per person, or grab your crew of 5 for only $150 each.
Sign up online or at Lambo Credit Union branches before October 31st.
For more registration and payment details, visit lambocreditunion.com and search Moonlight Miles today.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Carnival, neon is coming. Presenting the mashup king himself, DJ Kai.
Hair goals, we've got 'em. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bulge oil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Tobago Updates Television recognizes women in business. Every Thursday morning on the morning show, we engage with women-owned and operated businesses from right here in Tobago. We'll discover these women, their businesses, what inspired their business, their highs and their lows, and their encouragement to you. Join me, your host, Adana Kambi, this and every Thursday on the morning show from 7:40 a.m. as we celebrate and encourage women in business.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And we want to talk a little bit about Carnival. And we have here in studio with us Miss Loma Stewart, who is a resident in Texas in the United States of America. And she came down for Tobago Carnival this year. And we just want to have a conversation with her about her experience and what she thinks about the Tobago Carnival. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
So we're talking Tobago Carnival. Is this your first Tobago Carnival?
No, it's not. It's my third.
This is your third one.
Yes.
So you started coming from the second iteration of the festival.
Yes, I did.
And just tell us your overall experience. What did you think about the carnival? What events did you go to? Just give us the general rundown.
Okay, like overall this year, I didn't try to exert myself like last year or the previous years. And so this time, instead of buying tickets before the fete, I chose to how I feel this time. And so I went to festivals, to fetes that I like felt I want to go to. And overall, I could tell you, I was really blown away. There were a lot of kinks, a lot of things that didn't go the way everybody wanted. But overall, you enjoyed yourself. The music was great. The atmosphere, the people, everything was perfect. Everything was perfect to me.
So what are some of the events that you attended this year?
Oh, I went to FAO. I went to Docket. I went to Sun Up. Oh, I'm trying to remember all of them. I didn't get to go to Blue Food. I really wanted to go to that, but I didn't get to go to. But I went to Tobago Love as well. So I'm trying to, I went to a boat ride with Captain Phillips boat.
Right.
I went to that as well. And oh my gosh, let me see.
So
I went to Stink and Dirty.
Oh, so you went to a lot of events.
Night mass, everything, yeah.
Okay, so you also participated in night mass. I was going to ask if you attended any of the Pan Omega, Calypso Monarch, the Soca Titans, those kinds of events.
I went to the Soca Titans.
And when you thought about the Soca Titans event?
It was good. It was good. The performance, you can see that they tried their best. You can see that they really practiced what they wanted to do and everything. So it looked pretty good. It looked pretty organized as well.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
So as you're saying organized, we spoke earlier of you said that you missed the first year because you wanted them to get some of the kinks out the way, and you stated that since you've been attending year on year, the festival has been improving.
It has been improving. You could, there were one fete we were trying to get in, and the technology wasn't working as they wanted. And so I think technology-wise, plus communication-wise, it needed to be improved. Communication.
And you also played mass on the road. Am I mistaken? Or
Yes,
am I
I
correct?
played mass on the road.
So who you play mass with?
Okay.
And what was that experience like?
Truthfully, I played with another band this year, which is Iconic. Well, I bought the costumes and everything to play with Iconic. I just didn't get there in time to get in the band, so I ended up with Fog Angels because they're so huge, and they were accepting. They didn't care that I wasn't in their band. They were all accepting, maybe because they remembered me from the previous 2 years, but they were accepting. They gave drinks, they gave, they included me and stuff, so I really enjoyed myself.
And in terms of the services being offered by these bands, have you seen any improvement from the previous years? In terms of the service and the experience, because I've seen a lot of persons saying online that the experience on the road was so amazing, and I'm wondering if you have a similar experience being on the road.
As I said, on the road with these bands and even these people, the spectators, it was incident free. I didn't have a problem. I felt safe. They were marshals, I don't know what they call them, marshals? Road marshals. And they were, I had a couple of questions and they directed me. The police and everyone around, it just made everything felt like you can just enjoy yourself. Just don't think about anything and just enjoy yourself and enjoy the air, the music, the song, the people, the drinks, the food, everything. The rain, even the rain.
Yes.
It's perfect. Everything was perfect. The whole thing.
And I don't know if you attend other carnivals around the world or on the circuit in terms of, I don't want to compare in terms of competing, but to compare in terms of seeing where Tobago Carnival is in terms of its development. How would you rank it among the others?
Let me maybe select Miami Carnival because I've done that a couple of times. And I can tell you, Tobago Carnival, once you can get the people to come, get the flights in with everybody coming in, and even beforehand, if you have flights information beforehand, then with people who are coming from far and wide, they won't have to wonder if they're going to be able to get on the island, And with Miami Carnival, people don't wonder about that. People flying from all over the world and from all over everywhere. They fly in and get to Miami Carnival because that's the one thing they don't think about, getting there. They think about the feds, they think about, drinks, friends, everything. They get there. And Miami Carnival, I can tell you, if Tobago can get the people in and places for people to stay, it will rival Miami Carnival. Because I have some friends who said they're going to try Tobago Carnival this year. They're going to not go to Miami and come here to Tobago Carnival. And the most thing they complain about was getting here.
But they don't complain about the experience once they're
Not about the experience, getting here.
I don't know if you have anything else you would like to tell us about Tobago Carnival, any encouragement you want to give to the people of Tobago, to the promoters, to the mass band leaders, to the organizing body, which is the Tobago Festivals Commission. You seem so pleased and so happy about your experience for Tobago Carnival. Give us one last message.
Lengthen it, please. We want more days. We want more days. Even if you have to put a holiday, let the people come out, the locals come out and enjoy. Make it a holiday. Start from like a holiday from Wednesday all the way to the next Wednesday, maybe, you know? And then you have the
whole week.
Instead of packing all the fetes on one day, although I went to 3 fetes in one day, if I could have gone to 4, but you know, stagger it out for that whole week and give some holidays so we all can enjoy.
You want 2 days
the
on the
locals.
road.
Yeah.
You want 2 days on the road.
We want all the days. But overall, from last year to now, I can see the improvements. I saw the improvements. And you all are doing a really good job. Really good job.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Loma Stewart. She was a participant in the Tobago Carnival this year, 2025, and she played mass and went to all the fetes. She had an amazing time, but she would really like for some more connectivity to the island to enhance the experience of Tobago Carnival. We have to go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a short conversation with the Chief Secretary about his thoughts about Tobago Carnival 2025. So stick with us and do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
With Flow Business's new
we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. I know we promised we'd have a conversation with the Chief Secretary about the recently concluded Tobago Carnival, but we want to skip that for now and go into something a bit more serious and have a conversation with the Chief Secretary concerning the situation in Jamaica with Hurricane Melissa about to make landfall in that country and what it means for our Tobagonian and Trinbagonian students who are still on the island. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, Akinlabi. Thanks for having me. Good morning, Tobago.
So, Honorable Chief Secretary, I know that you recently had a press conference speaking about the situation and the THA's position. For those who may not have been able to listen in, could you just summarize what the Tobago House of Assembly's position is concerning the matter?
Well, sometime last week, I actually reached out to the students in Jamaica. In fact, I just type searched in WhatsApp to see which students in Jamaica I had contact for. And through that contact, I was able to be placed on the group chats with the Tobago students that are in Jamaica. Miss Melinda Alfred is the student leader there representing Tobago students. Since then, I've also created a second chat because we have high school students in Jamaica, and I think most Tobagonians don't know that we have high schoolers from Tobago that attend high school in Jamaica. In conversations with them on Friday, they indicated that a couple of things. One, many of them missed the repatriation flight with Caribbean Airlines because they either did not know about it or it was announced too late for them to do anything about it, or they did not have the monies to pay for the flights to come home. In fact, I did not even know of the flight until very late either. After I had a conversation with the students on Friday, the Secretary of Education, myself, and Minister Sobers, we had a conversation, and I indicated to him that a lot of our students did not get adequate supplies in Jamaica. And by the time we got to Sunday mid-morning, the supplies were delivered to them by the Trinidad and Tobago High Commission. And so all of our young people who are there that we had contact with, they received supplies, adequate supplies for the duration of the hurricane. I have been in constant communication with them. In fact, I could share with you the times for communication as it relates to our university students. My last conversation with them was at 7:18 a.m. this morning. 7:18 a.m., 18 minutes past 7 this morning, and none of those university students, whether on campus or off campus, have flooded out or roofs are gone. So far they are in good stead. And I last had communication with the high school students. That was just about 1:34 a.m. this morning. I had conversation with the high school students. Among the high school students, only one reported some roof leak, but the roof leak was not major. He just had, I think, roof leak in 4 areas in the room, and he just had some containers that he was collecting that water and pouring it out periodically. But all in all, our students are doing quite fine up until this point. I don't know if the circumstances will change, but we are in constant communication with them. The total number of students that we are in communication with is just around 69 students that we are in communication with at this point, that we have information for. We know their whereabouts, where they're located. We know that they had supplies to weather the hurricane, and we have all systems in place to help them. On Sunday as well, while the rest of the island was jumping up and so on, I met virtually with our students in ensuring that, again, their anxieties are calm and that they had all that they needed. I have also put systems in place on the THAN for post-hurricane response. So I have teams monitoring what's happening there, the chief administrator included, and they have firm instructions that should the thing deteriorate, should matters deteriorate beyond what they are now, that there are certain steps that we definitely will take in the days immediately post the hurricane. So we even have a post hurricane plan in the event that there is need for an activation for an island that is devastated by hurricane.
Honorable Chief Secretary, we just want to bring in the Tobago representative from the TTSA, Ms. Melinda Alfred, into the conversation. Good morning and welcome again, Melinda. How are you?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
So I'm not sure if you heard what the chief would have been saying concerning the communication between the Tobago, between himself and the students that are in Jamaica right now. Just for repetition for those who may not have heard in your earlier interview, what is the feeling like amongst the student population from Tobago in Jamaica at this present moment?
At this present moment, and before, I can definitely say that persons are anxious. They have no idea what to expect. We have no idea what to expect, knowing that we have never went through a hurricane before. And persons are just anticipating what will happen next, looking at the wind, the constant rain, trees falling. As of right now, just hoping for the best.
The Chief Secretary would have mentioned that there is constant monitoring of the situation by the Tobago House of Assembly and that they stand ready to assist in whatever way should the situation deteriorate. Do you think that that position is going to ease the nervousness and the anxieties of the Tobago students in Jamaica?
Definitely, since Chief has been in contact with us, most persons are definitely saying, they feel much more comfort knowing this, because before all of this, we were not contacted via email as stated by other persons who are probably gate funded or funded national bursaries or CAPE scholarship.
Ms. Alfred? We lost Ms. Alfred there for a moment. Chief, I just want to get back to you.
Sure.
You said that the THA would be there to help if the situation deteriorates any further. We know that there has been outcry concerning the whole issue with the flights out of Jamaica, to airlift our nationals out of Jamaica. Would the Tobago House of Assembly stand ready to cover the cost of any flight to repatriate our nationals or Tobago residents back to Tobago?
That's actually part of the plan. So we have a two-pronged plan for the students who are still in Jamaica right now. We have all of their information, including account information, and we are monitoring. And if the weather conditions should worsen significantly, we are prepared to immediately make some injection of funds into the personal accounts of these students, because they will need access to some financial resources post the hurricane. And if it's absolutely devastating and there is no way they could, and we're talking Hurricane Ivan type devastation, because that's what most people here will be familiar with. We are prepared, if needs be, to charter a flight, whether it be CAL or any other airline, to airlift the remaining students out of Jamaica, if needs be. As a matter of fact, I wish I had known of the flight earlier. If I had known of the CAL flight, or more than that, if I had known that Jamaica was shutting its airport down earlier, then I would have found a way to get all our students out and off Jamaica prior to the passage of Hurricane Melissa. But at this point, in fact, by the time we, including some of the students here who are aware of the flight and all of that, it was too late. And then when we are checking to see if we could charter to get them out, the airport in Jamaica was closed. In fact, the airport in Jamaica was closed since around Friday. So it was difficult to get them out in those conditions. But we are prepared if with the passage of the hurricane is devastating. We are prepared that if it is absolutely needed, we will take our students off the island. We are in constant communication with the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. They have in fact been helpful to the THA. In fact, at one point the minister said, "No, Chief Sec, you don't have to spend money to get these things. We would provide it." And so it's the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs that provided the supplies to the students over the weekend that they received on Sunday. And I want to thank Minister Sobers for moving so quickly upon my call in providing the assistance to the students. But that aside, we are prepared to do whatever is necessary to ensure that in the days following Melissa, that the students are well. We know it's a slow-moving storm. This storm was expected to make landfall last night, but what we have seen thus far is increase in the levels of rainfall, and of course the wind speeds are picking up. But to date, most of our students, if not all, still have access to electricity and telecommunications. We just had Miss Alfred online, but you will imagine that the telecoms, that it is going and coming. We so far have all of the students reporting that they are well. Certainly if that changes, then our response will have to change with it. Students and parents are reaching out, because I forgot to mention that while I was saying to the students, add me to your chat, parents were in fact reaching out to say, look, I have a child there and I'm worried and anxious. So for the parents who are here looking on and communicating with your children and praying and so on, know that we are here with you, and we are prepared to do what is necessary for our students. Of course, we will do so in collaboration with the ministry in Trinidad, but we are even prepared to work above and beyond what the ministry may or may not do. Because I can't speak to the ministry's policy at this time, but I can tell you, as so far as the THA is concerned, we are prepared to take any and every action necessary post the hurricane to ensure that our students are well.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Secretary, concerning that matter. And we pray that the storm does minimal damage in Jamaica and that everyone comes out safer on the other side of this incident. I want to thank you very much, Ms. Melinda Alfred, for being with us once again, and we hope that you stay safe as well. Chief, we just want to continue conversations, but we want to segue into something else. We know that
Sure.
we are on the tail end of October, and we have 2 more months before the end of the year, and politics is on people's minds. The election is on people's minds, and we want to know about the nomination process for the Tobago People's Party. How's it going? Have you all selected candidates just yet? Are you all going to announce candidates? And also, are you going to announce the election date soon?
Well, insofar as our nomination process, nominations closed last Friday, and over the weekend we did sort of the first layer of screening, and in that first layer of screening, we looked at ensuring that everyone who were nominated, that they in fact are members of the party. That's a basic rule. This must be a member of the party. We also looked at whether those nominated had the required number of nominators, so to speak, for the nominees. Today, I will announce all of those who were duly nominated. And once I do that, all action groups will be issued with the necessary forms that they will evaluate the nominees. The evaluations from the action groups at the village level, that comes up to the screening committee level, who will engage in the interview processes next week. And thereafter, we will announce who the successful candidates would be. There may be instances, and it's too early to tell, there may be instances where the political leader will require that in districts, in particular districts, that they go back and find additional nominees. That too is part of the process. But that's where we are. Insofar as an election date, unfortunately, I don't have an election date at this time to announce. Just note that based on law, two things must happen. One, the House must be dissolved first, and then once the House is dissolved, the election can only be called within a 2 to 3 month period. It cannot be less than 2 months based on the THA Act. And of course, when it comes to the issuing of the election writ and so on, I think that's 35 days. So that's just all that I have at this time.
So then we're definitely looking at our 2026 THA elections.
Well, you definitely can say that, because the election cannot, by law, be less than 2 months from the date of the dissolving of the House. That's claimed in Act 40 of 1996. I think it's Section 22 of Act 40 of 1996. In fact, let me just quickly read it for you so that it is clear to everyone. In Section 22, it says, the Assembly shall continue for 4 years from the date of its first sitting after any primary election, and shall then stand dissolved unless the Assembly by resolution dissolves itself at an earlier date. And 22.2 says, the President, after consultation with the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary, shall fix the date of a primary election, which date shall not be earlier than the expiration of 2 months after the dissolution of the Assembly, no later than the expiration of 3 months after the dissolution. So in other words, the election can only happen within 2 to 3 months after the dissolution of the Assembly. So I hear people talking all sort of madness about whether I will call a snap election and whether I will try to call an election with acting President Mark and all sorts of madness. That's just not how the THA works. We should just be familiar with Act 40 of 1996. That is very, very clear in terms of the process for getting to an election for the THA.
No, Chief, I know it's been reported that you all had over 50 submissions for the 15 seats. So there's clearly a strong interest in participating in the democratic process and representing the Tobago People's Party. How do you think that will augur for the party in the upcoming elections? Do you all see yourselves walking away with a very strong victory? How do you think the elections will pan out for your party?
The plan is to walk away with a strong victory. I think Tobagonians, having assessed the parties, They understand that at this time there is really and truly just one party that is in a position to best to represent the people of Tobago, to advocate for the people of Tobago, but more so to govern the island of Tobago. And so we are working with all interests. We continue to have a very open door policy as a party, which means that you could be PNM this morning, and I could send you the link this afternoon and you join and become a member of the Tobago People's Party this afternoon. It's a very simple process. We don't run an exclusive club. This is not some all-inclusive fete where you have to pay big money, and if you don't pay big money, if you don't meet some stringent criteria, you can't be a part of it. This is a party that prides itself on a bottom-up approach, that prides itself on being democratic, that prides itself on being people-driven, and that prides itself on being very Tobago-centric. And so with that in mind, I think we are the only indigenous Tobago party at this time that has Tobago's best interests at heart and that can advance the cause for greater autonomy for the people of Tobago.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, for your interview this morning, and we wish you have a good and productive rest of your day.
Well, just before we leave, just to say one, I think Melinda tried returning to the interview just before we segue. She has been doing a fantastic job of corralling all of our students there. I also know that we have, she's still here, I also know that we have, in fact, some persons in Jamaica who went for graduation. Graduation, I think, is supposed to be within this week coming, but obviously those graduation exercises are on pause out there at UWI Mona. I have been using my network at UWI Mona because I studied there. I know some of the players there on the administration side. So I've been using my network in ensuring that, we do all that's necessary for our students. I've gone as far as to communicating with colleagues I have who I studied with, who are now in the parliament in Jamaica as well, just doing what is necessary for them. And so I encourage all of Tobago to keep them in your prayers. Not just our Tobago students, but those also from Trinidad that's there. And of course the wider Jamaica population that is a resident in Jamaica that really and truly will be going through their worst storm in 37 years since Hurricane Gilbert. And so it's quite an anxious moment for the island. And we want to make sure that they're all safe. I see Melinda is back. Melinda, thank you for the excellent job that you have been doing. You have been very, very, very responsive. Even in the middle of the night, you have been responsive, because I've been trying to chat with them all after 1, after 2 in the morning, and they have been responding, sending the little videos of what's happening on the outside, of where they're staying, and so on, so that they're not just saying that they're okay at the moment, but they're showing evidence of being okay at the moment, and I do appreciate that. Melinda, how are things where you are specifically right now? Melinda, you can
Right
hear
now,
us?
the rain has stopped. It's just windy, but currents is constantly. You're not hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead, we're hearing you.
Go ahead, we hear you.
Right, I'm saying current is constantly going.
Okay.
Current is constantly going where I am, but we do have a generator, so I'm able to join back on the meeting. Hello?
Okay.
Yes, so I think she probably might not be hearing us, but we are definitely hearing her.
Yes.
So
yes.
again, thank you, Akinlabi, and I can't leave it out saying thanks to all the visitors that passed through the island over the past week. I was at home washing on Sunday, and I had the television on Tobago Updates. So I was following the interviews, and I kept hearing, but I'm here from the US, I'm here from Canada, I'm here from Trinidad, I'm here from places all over the world. And I think Tobago has not had this opportunity to have so many people from so many parts of the world converge on the island in such a long time. And I think the Carnival provides that opportunity. Given that I am not a partier and not a fet man, I took the responsibility within the TH of managing the security aspect. And of course, we had the command center being operated by TIMA. We had ACP Suberu as the goal commander. And we had Captain McKenna as the silver commander up from Camp Signal Hill. We had Naval Lieutenant Valentine was here. We had the Coast Guard vessel docked and stationed around the island for the entire week. That allowed us to have quick responses, even in the Marine Park, where we saw some madness happening there, but that was addressed by Mr. Stewart, director out at TIMA. But all in all, we had a very safe week and weekend. And last night, much of my protestation, Suberu took me to the last event down at Pigeon Point, just as they were preparing to close that event out and bring a curtain down on the festivities. I'm happy everything went safely. I want to give another assurance though, because the THA invests a lot into the orange economy and into cultural events like this. One of the things I want to see happen, and I've said it constantly to administrators and to the chief admin in particular, I've placed it in my notations on minute sheets, that I want to see similar investments in other parts of our culture, including the religious aspects of our culture and religious entertainment. I want to see similar types of investment into that area as well, so that all sections of the Tobago population will feel as though they can enjoy the benefits of THA investments in the orange economy, not just those who are involved in carnival arts or those who are involved in the sort of ancestral type art forms. I really want to underscore the point that we want to be quite even and equal in how we do the distribution across the space. But again, thanks to everybody who came and enjoyed and participated. Thanks to a very safe week and weekend. And we now sort of marching towards Christmas. And we certainly will be ensuring that everyone have a happy, joyful, and peaceful Christmas.
Chief, as you mentioned something there concerning the party boats in the Buko Reef Marine Park, and I just want to get a quick response from you. We have seen a number of incidents with sinking of boats and a lot of unfortunate incidents taking place in the Marine Park, and there seems to be a lack of regulation taking place, or persons breaking regulations, I should say. Persons breaking regulations in the Marine Park.
It's a case of people breaking regulations and policy. Now remember, the THA has a policy. We have a policy that governs the time, and when people can and cannot be in the park, etc. We have regulations governing how persons should be on the vessel, life vests, insurance, etc., etc. Some of those things are codified in law, and so Maritime Division can act. So, for example, if you don't have enough life vests, if you overload the boats, Maritime Division and the police can act. But in the main, our policies are just policies without the effect of law behind it. And I keep saying, in 2019, we sat as a THA and we all unanimously agreed to policies, to a bill that we sent down to the Parliament, we had a case of a PNM chief sec, a PNM prime minister, and the bill never made its way on the parliament floor. And so in the absence of very strong laws, people will violate the policies of the THA. I'm happy for the position that Mr. Stewart, and as director of TMAT, and that committee, that management committee is taking, that they're looking to ensure that charges are laid, that licenses are revoked once persons violate the terms of their license for the craft that they're operating. But we can't help but continue to underscore for our practitioners within this space, within the marine park, that you have to be safe, that lives are at risk, and if you are not safe in your operations, then we could have something very catastrophic. But the THA and other agencies like the police, the Coast Guard, etc., we are prepared for any eventuality within the marine park. We just don't want any at all. We want to minimize the number of eventualities in the area.
So will the THA now appeal to this current government to bring the bill to Parliament?
We have appealed to the current government to actually take the bill up as it is and to carry it on the Parliament floor because we think it is critically important at this time.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Chief Secretary, for sitting with us and having this extended interview. We know that you're a very, very busy man.
We're running into 2 days of retreat now to just look at the budgetary prioritization. And so by Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, we will have a press conference that will examine how we plan to treat with the 5% we receive. And of course, sometime during the course of the day, maybe later this afternoon, the public will hear from me as I announce those who were duly nominated from the TPP process. And we continue to work with our students. But all in all, have a good day, have a productive day. You had a very long weekend, Tobago, very long weekend. Our offices were closed yesterday. I expect everybody to shake off all of the back pains and leg pains and so on. You have washed off all the pains and all of that. And we expect everybody at work. In fact, you should be at work already and being quite productive. So thank you and have a productive week ahead.
Same to you, Honorable Chief Secretary. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have come to the end of the Tobago Updates Morning Show, but our programming continues. Up next, we have Good Morning Tobago with Chanel Felix. So do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. GMT is up next.
LambFest 2025, now in its third year, being the second event on the calendar for the World Food Day celebrations, did not disappoint, as it showcased the culinary skills of our local chefs here on the island. This unique event also saw scores of people eager to taste and enjoy the festivities.
Today, we gather not just to celebrate our third annual LambFest, but to honor the hard work, passion, and resilience of Tobago's farmers, chefs, and entrepreneurs who continue to drive our island agricultural success. LambFest is more than just an event. It's a showcase of innovation, community, and the rich culinary heritage that makes Tobago unique. Each dish, each display, and each conversation today tells a story of dedication and progress.
All of this started 3 years ago in my conference room at the Division of Food Security. The Tobago Integrated Livestock Association, they were now forming, and they understood that the small ruminant industry needed to be developed on the island. And I gave them that responsibility of assisting us at the division to develop the small ruminant industry. Because it was non-existent. We hardly had any stock on the farms. And 3 years later, we're now having 3 lamb fests in Tobago.
This is the first lamb fest where all the meats have been sold out, have been purchased by the caterers. We have 18 caterers on site, and every bit of the meat will purchase. We have no fresh meat. This is the first year, no fresh meat on sale for patrons. So I would say that everything is working in accordance and the market is really developing. I see the Lamb Fest being franchised and possibly being spread out throughout the Caribbean. Who knows, probably international as well.
My name is Gillian. I'm from the UK and I'm staying here for a little while. I was told by my friend that about this Lamb Fest and it's fantastic. My first bite, one of many, it's absolutely so delicious.
I think it's a great initiative because it's a interesting spin on approach to food security in a way that I think Tobagonians could relate to. It's a food festival, so everybody comes, with a belly in their hand and a fair amount of curiosity as to what the caterers will present this year. And so far, I'm not disappointed. This is my family.
Well, my experience has been good. The food is excellent. And I suppose when you come here, you will get lamb in different styles that you don't normally do at home. So that's why I come.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And guys, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have, but I ask those questions that you want asked. This morning, we jump straight ahead into our conversation on the U.S. naval ships that are currently in Trinidad and Tobago's waters, Trinidad, to be exact. And this morning, to have that conversation with me, I have the privilege of chatting virtually with former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning to you. How was Tobago Carnival? I missed it this year.
Now, with rising tensions within the region, for a while we've been hearing about wars and rumors of wars, specifically between the United States and Venezuela. But in recent time, we've seen the evidence of this with the U.S. Calling for airstrikes on a number of boats that were in the water as a part of their war on narcotics. Do you have any views on this at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Good morning. You hearing me okay?
I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, great. Good morning to you. That's a situation that we have seen for years by countries who have the capacity to do that. Because now in this type of war that we have now around the world, as we go into the second quarter of the 21st century, it's now pressing of a button. It's no longer this concept that we believe that it's frontline troops. And with that, at times, if it is that you have enough intelligence and you feel it can verify that there's a clear and present danger that can affect your security of a country, you believe that there are terrorists harboring in certain areas, that's what they do. They press that button, and unless that country has surface-to-air missiles to intercept it, it's going to detonate right on that spot. So that is something that is taking place now between Venezuela and the United States. Unfortunately, Trinidad and Tobago, we have been pulled into it. People, unfortunately, the country has been divided politically, not by looking at logic or looking at the facts. Anything that is said in support of what the government stance is as it pertains to the Venezuela-United States geopolitical situation, that impasse, you automatically you're labeled as somebody who is looking for a job or somebody who is just blindly supporting the government. If you criticize the government and you have a right to do so, you're seen as a terrorist sympathizer. That is not what the country requires right now. What we require is for a degree of calm. We cannot have political civil war in our country that when it is that the real enemy can be outside that can affect Trinidad and Tobago's national security. We have decisions to make. Mistakes may have been made, but there's a lot that needs to be done. We need to prepare. We need to stop the bickering, the finger pointing. I mean, you're hearing now we have seen persons on social media actually putting out things stating that they're speaking to the Venezuelan administration to target the home of a prime minister to have her targeted. These are the things that you will start seeing. I mean, I have lived it in armed conflict against the IRA when I was with the British Army, in Haiti with the United Nations in the attempted coup. This situation is something totally different. There's not one soldier or sailor who took part in defending our country during the coup that is there now, 35 years later. This is a new defense force. Persons need to be mentally, physically prepared. The country needs to support them. The country needs to support the government, the prime minister, regardless of who it is. That's how it works. In times of armed conflict, we need to try to unite as a country, because we are spending so much time as finger pointing and targeting the prime minister, and then others just blindly supporting everything that the government says. That is not what is required. It's for us to unify, circle the wagons, unify as a country, and understand who the real enemy of the state is.
Right. And some are calling it, based on, the U.S.'s position, a war on narcotics, while others within the region are calling it a war on Venezuela's sovereignty. Regardless of what the war is on, if it does escalate to the point where, because we have heard President Donald Trump talking about potential ground strikes, if it does escalate to that, where do we as as a country stand specifically with our proximity? And this is because we've heard Venezuela turning a bit of their anger towards Trinidad and Tobago. We've heard our Prime Minister being called a puppet, and threats that they will retaliate if Trinidad and Tobago gets involved. And we're now seeing that press release that came out over the weekend calling, Trinidad and Tobago's involvement by having those U.S. naval ships land in Trinidad and Tobago provocation. So where do we stand as a country in all of this?
Well, excellent question. I think that's probably one of the most powerful, strongest questions that I have been interviewed numerous times locally and internationally and regionally. And that is exactly the situation here. What people have been, there are many persons in this country who are very anti-United States. That is your right. That is not my business or anyone else's. But the fact is that you state that Donald Trump and the United States, they are poking the bear. They are provoking Venezuela. They are looking for an excuse to attack. But Venezuela is doing the same thing to Trinidad and Tobago and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, because you're anti-CAMLA or anti-UNC. You're not seeing that. Venezuela have been drawing first blood. Venezuela have been throwing shots across the bow at Trinidad and Tobago for months, unprovoked. It started with them stating with lies that Trinidad and Tobago is we are harboring terrorists who have we have a holding base here that is being used as a launching pad to destabilize Venezuela. Lie. Then they stated that because of that, it gives Venezuela the right to go anywhere in the world to extract these persons and to attack them, which means basically they're stating that they want to invade Trinidad and Tobago. This was an excuse. They have referred to senior politicians in our government as drunkards. They have referred to, they've now made statements that they're not going to be involved in any energy, in the energy sector, involved in anything with Trinidad and Tobago. Threats. They've then now stated that, and with lies, that we are involved with the CIA in orchestrating a plot to attack Venezuela. There's nothing to show that. They have now had and in local parlance, they've fastened out a place that our country, we are an independent country. If Trinidad and Tobago decides to allow a military vessel to enter our waters, Venezuela is upset because Trinidad and Tobago is allowing that. We don't work for Venezuela, brother. Know your place. So that defense minister is fastened out a place to be attacking Trinidad and Tobago. Now, if Venezuela said that they had a vessel and they would like to come into Trinidad and Tobago's waters for to assist our troops in training and to build schools, which is what the U.S. military vessel is doing, and we refused, but we allowed the U.S. to go, then people could start saying you're picking sides. But there's nothing that should prevent Trinidad and Tobago from being that country that, if it is that the United States wants to bring a vessel to Trinidad and Tobago to assist in building schools and projects and development for homes and so forth. This has been done for decades. I spent 17 years in the Defense Force, so everybody back off of that perception that this is done specifically to attack Venezuela. That has been done for decades with U.S. vessels coming to Trinidad and Tobago to participate in coming with equipment to assist in building schools and projects, working with the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment Engineering Battalion. So for Venezuela to attack Trinidad and Tobago and say that we had no right to allow an international ally who have supported us tremendously by providing assets, training, equipment, technology for our military, our police, and so forth. Venezuela have never done that. The only thing Venezuela would have done is it's the only country since Trinidad and Tobago has been independent to invade our territorial waters through the La Guardia Nacional, attacking Trinidad and Tobago fishermen for decades, seizing their nets, seizing their fish, seizing their vessels, by breaking the law and going into our territorial waters. In 2014, as the Minister of National Security, I had a meeting with the Defense Minister of Venezuela. I asked him to come to Trinidad and Tobago with all the heads of his defense force, and I told them, now that we got the damning vessels, any Guardian National vessel enters our water, we are going to strike, and we will take them out. And with that, there was a bilateral agreement that was agreed to, and it put us an end to it for a few years. It has now recommenced because the PNM government did not impose that bilateral agreement. My point being is, when you have a bully, sometimes you need to stand firm to the bully. Venezuela have been bullying Trinidad and Tobago for the last few months, and because they do not have the capability to threaten the United States, they are turning to Trinidad and Tobago, and this is what happens in wartime scenarios. We need to be prepared. We must not pick sides. We must hope and work with our CARICOM partners. We must continue to show that we have no issue with Venezuela or the United States, but we cannot allow our country to continue to abuse us, to attack us, to threaten us, to say the nastiest things about us. And we will just stay and tell the United States, you can't come in our waters because Venezuela may be upset. Venezuela, in local parlance, as I said, they're fastened out of place.
Understood. But do you think the timing of these vessels, because of the heightened sense of tension between Venezuela and the U.S. at this time, raises questions about potential, underhanded or secret deals being made by Trinidad and Tobago and the U.S. and, bringing some level of credibility to the accusations being made by Venezuela that the CIA is planning to have those false flag events take place to give the U.S. a reason to invade their country?
Yeah, and I work on facts. It is quite possible. I do not know. But many people are turning that possibility into fact because they are anti-government. And many people are saying that it is a total lie because they are supportive of the government. We must work on facts. There's nothing to verify that at this time. This is equivalent to Keith Rowley and Fitzgerald Hines with their nasty lies about firearm corruption. And for 4 years, after 4 years, not one person has ever even been questioned pertaining to firearm corruption because the ministers and the politicians were liars. They were blatant liars, but they know in Trinidad and Tobago, you say the same lie over and over and over, and you hope people will believe it. That is how we work in this country. So in the same way that even though we have U.S. vessels coming into Trinidad and Tobago for years, for decades, doing the same thing that this vessel is doing, it is possible that this can be used as an avenue to get a foothold within the territorial waters of Trinidad to be used against Venezuela. We do not know. Only the Trinidad and Tobago government will know, and they have stated it is not true. They are not going to be used as a launching pad or to support the U.S. in attacking Venezuela. There's nothing that Trinidad and Tobago would have done at this time other than stating that if Venezuela decides to attack Trinidad and Tobago, they will seek the support of other international allies to defend our sovereignty and our territorial waters against Venezuela, which is the right of a government to do. So everything is based on speculation. And you are correct. It could very well be the case. If I was in the United States, the military, I would look to start slipping in different vessels and so forth in strategic positions in anticipation of a strike. It doesn't make Trinidad and Tobago that we are supportive of the U.S. Unless, of course, as I said, if Venezuela states that they want to bring a vessel to Trinidad and Tobago to assist our troops, and we say no, then it shows that we have picked sides. We have not picked sides. We have no reason to prevent the U.S. from entering Trinidad and Tobago's waters because of a perception that the U.S. may be using this as an avenue, as a foothold to attack Venezuela. Until that is done, we cannot be working on speculation. What is required, however, is proper strategic planning. We have a Ministry of Defense. The Ministry of Defense, I drafted that ministry, in fact, especially for what is taking place now. I drafted that since 2010 in anticipation of these things. And the Ministry of Defense has been quiet. They have not said a word. Nowhere in the world can you have a country on the verge of possible armed conflict with another country, and you have not heard about it. The Ministry of Defense has said nothing. And this is no fault of the line minister. It is just unfortunate the Ministry of Defense has been established, and there's not one person with probably 1 day of military experience in that ministry. So they do not know what to say. The Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs and the Ministry of Homeland Security have been saying the most, and they are not supposed to be the frontline ministry. It reached the point where the Ministry of CARICOM and Foreign Affairs spelled the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force DFENSE. They don't even know how to spell Defense Force, and that says a lot. You can't have these ministries being the front line in possible armed conflict when you have a Ministry of Defense. And what is required is, as I said before, we have so many very highly trained military persons with decades of training to prepare us for this eventuality and to try to prevent it from happening. Brigadier General Carl Alfonso, John Sandy, Ansel Antwine, Eddie Dillon, all previous government ministers, most ministers of national security, previous commanding officers and admirals such as Kelshaw, Franklin, and so forth. These are the persons that the government and the media should be speaking to. Unfortunately, the media continues to turn to someone who has appointed himself as a regional security expert, even though he never went further north of Shaka Shakari. We need experts to be able to guide us in these trying times. The Prime Minister cannot be making decisions specifically with civilians who are politicians because they are not trained. They've never experienced this type. And as I said, the names I have called, they have decades of experience, millions and millions of dollars spent to training these persons to assist them, to prepare them for this eventuality. And those are the type of people we need. We need to have the Defense Force mentally and physically prepared. We have so many assets from the Defense Force that cannot be used because we cannot equate the naval asset acquisition to manpower strength. We have a massive shortage, yet we are seeing advertisements for the fire services and nothing for the Defense Force. All of these things must be prepared. We must reignite that National Operations Center to give real-time information to the public, rather than you're seeing now somebody actually making stupid comments to attack the Prime Minister's home by speaking to the Venezuelan president. These things, fake news, panic, all of that can set in if we do not have a proper structure and an establishment to give the public information in real time.
Understood. But let's talk about international law and the U.S.'s violation of those laws by those airstrikes that have been made. And Trinidad and Tobago being postured as supporting those illegal activities by the Prime Minister, saying that she supports this war on narcotics that is being postured by this Trump administration.
We have seen it in the Middle East. We have seen many times where the U.S. have targeted certain persons, stating that they are terrorists. And when they make that strike, unfortunately, there's that collateral damage where women and children are killed. We have been seeing it in the situation in the Gaza. So that is the unfortunate aspect of war, where a country that may be very strong feels that because of a clear and present danger that can affect their own country, they, by right, must do things to protect their own country. And that is what war is. It is unfortunate. It is not the right thing to do. But again, that is the lifestyle throughout the world. We have seen it. That is how we've had world wars because of these things. What we do not want is for us to succumb and state, well, because of the wrongdoing of persons, we must just bow because the person, the other avenue that is attacking us, threatening us, accusing us, they might attack us. We can't operate like that. So this is not in any way to justify or condone what the United States is doing. The United States.
We seem to have a bit of a technical difficulty there with your connection. But even as we continue this discussion, we continue to monitor the situation as it pertains to this conflict between Venezuela and the United States and where we stand, as a country in between this conflict at this time. We haven't heard much from, our THA executive on this particular matter. So we look forward to hearing about where Tobago stands, especially when we look at a future where we are trying our best to secure Tobago's autonomy. In situations like this, where does Tobago stand? We're a very small island, and as has been said by the former commissioner of police, there's a lot of collateral damage that tends to take place, and it's often spoken about in a casual way when we talk about those foreign countries like Palestine and everything that's happening in the Middle East. But it's a totally different story when it hits the shores of Trinidad and Tobago, and it's our families that are being attacked innocently. Now, unfortunately, we have had that connectivity issue, and I'm glad that you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, and this can affect Trinidad and Tobago as well. As I said, Venezuela have threatened to invade Trinidad and Tobago. So the same thing that the U.S. is doing that may be deemed inappropriate by persons is that they're using the avenue of intelligence and taking away due process. But the U.S. is stating that if we don't attack these vessels, these drugs and so forth will enter the United States and affect our citizens. That is the justification of the United States. Whether it is right or wrong, that is for each and every citizen to decide. If it pertains to, I could tell you, if I was a prime minister of this country, and I know emphatically intelligence has confirmed that there are hundreds of millions of drugs or weapons that is going to leave a certain place to come to my country, and it is going to affect my country, I am going to give the instruction to press that button. And people may not like it, but you have seen my style of one shot, one kill. I do it to them before they do it to us. I look after the sovereignty and the safety and security of my country first. So if I am sure that those things are going to affect my country, whether it be drugs, whether it be weapons or so forth, and I know that if it is I don't press that button, it's going to infiltrate, to go into the swamps of Caroni, and then it's going to filter all over to kill young men and women, whether it be drugs or illegal weapons. And the one time I could have to prevent it from happening is to eliminate that problem in the water. I would do so.
Understood.
And if people
Now we have a situation where many persons are speculating or asking the key question, is this truly a war on narcotics or a war on the current administration in Venezuela? And when we look at it from the perspective of an attack on the sovereignty of any nation, it's easy to sit and say, well, it's happening to them and it's not us. But what about a situation where administration changes in Trinidad and Tobago and the policy decisions no longer reflect one that is one that the United States or any other nation agrees with? When we agree with what the U.S. is doing now towards others, are we also agreeing to what they can potentially do to us in the future if we no longer are on their side?
Well said, exactly, and you're correct. And that's why this must not be seen as condoning wrongdoing, because they're the stronger body and they're the big brother and they're the ones who can protect us. We must never sell our soul we must stay on principle. I gave up my position as a national security advisor and commissioner because I refused to sell out. I stood firm. And many times you need to do that. But in this situation, as I said, this is not Trinidad and Tobago at this time stating that we are supporting the U.S. and what they are doing with Venezuela because we need their support, we need their assistance, we need their finance and so forth. I think, again, the Prime Minister, initially there may have been comments that killed them all violently and so forth. It may have gone a little too much to the right. I think now she has been very tempered. She's measured in what she is saying. And she continues to state that she intends us to work with Venezuela. There's no problem and issue with Venezuela. That is what we need to hear. That is the type of leadership that is required. If Venezuela continues to make statements and say the prime ministers are drunkard and we're not going to have exchange anything in the energy sector with you anymore, and you all are working with the CIA, and you all are operatives of the United States, and you all have no right to bring a U.S. vessel into our waters, Venezuela are the ones who continue to show that they are the ones that are against Trinidad and Tobago, not the United States. So if it is that you have a house you are going to invite people who accommodate you, who are supportive of you. You're not going to invite people into your home who continue to threaten you, abuse you, attack you. And as I said, in the 60 plus years of us being an independent nation, the only time any country has invaded us into our territorial waters has been Venezuela with La Guardia Nacional. That has been fact. So we need to be very clear to understand who's friend and who's foe. At this time, we must not in any way pinpoint Venezuela as being the enemy. I ask all of those people who openly support the government, you can't just automatically accuse, because I'm hearing too many comments and it can become now profiling. We have to be very careful trying to accuse Venezuela of being the enemy and attacking Venezuela and just saying that the whole of Venezuela is involved in the narco trafficking. We need to be very clear and understand the United States and Venezuela, they have their issue. We are both countries, we have no issues with them. But Venezuela cannot be continuing to threaten Trinidad and Tobago, lie about Trinidad and Tobago, accuse Trinidad and Tobago, and then try to tell Trinidad and Tobago who must be our friend. Because the United States is involved in something with Venezuela, it must not in any way allow us to say, well, because of what the United States is doing and we are not really too pleased, we are not going to allow you in our territorial waters. We have to be mad. As I said, as the Minister of National Security, Commissioner of Police, even in the Defense Forces, a 17 years service in the Defense Force as an officer, the United States pumped us with so many assets, technology, equipment, training. As the Minister of National Security, the U.S. offered to give us, through myself as the Minister, 2 vessels similar to the vessel that is now in Trinidad and Tobago. 2 vessels at no cost. Venezuela have never given us not even a dinghy. So we need to understand, if we have to secure Trinidad and Tobago, we need to know who have been our friends and who continue to be our friends. Venezuela have continued to attack us. United States have continued to support us. Whilst at the same time, we must not push a fight with Venezuela because we believe that the United States will be there for us. Because if this thing ends and all of that United States goes out, our biggest concern is going to be with a situation of a fallout in Venezuela. Hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans leaving the mainland to enter Trinidad and Tobago. If that happens, it's going to affect national security, it can fuel crime, it's going to affect employment, health, education, everything. It's going to be madness. We already have 100,000 plus illegal immigrants in this country. If that turns to 500,000, which will be almost half of the adult population, and we cannot account for these people, Trinidad and Tobago can easily turn into what you have seen in Haiti. We do not want that. But we do not have the naval capacity right now to secure that borders in the southwestern peninsula because of incompetence of the previous government when I got all the vessels required to do just that, and they never lifted a finger. So because of poor maintenance, we don't have the naval capacity to be able to protect that mass influx of persons leaving the mainland to enter Trinidad and Tobago. They have refused to equate manpower strength with naval asset acquisition. My point being, not having they're supposed to be since we knew this situation with Venezuela 2 years ago. We are supposed to have been pumping hundreds of recruits on an annual basis from the Coast Guard and the Army. None, but instead you're seeing advertisements for fire services. All of these things is what the importance of a Ministry of Defense. I drafted it to do all of these things. If that is done, I think the government can be guided in the right direction, and I think it can calm down the place because, as I said, what we do not want is for undue panic, because this can trigger to panic buying, into looting it. All of these things happen even before war even begins. We must put things in place to prevent this from happening, to communicate with CARICOM, Venezuela, the United States, to show, listen, we're not involved in this. When elephants fight, the grass alone gets trampled. We are not going to get trampled. But at the same time, we must not be bullied. We must not be bullied by any country.
No, even in the conversation as it pertains to strategic alliances, it seems that this administration under Kamala Persad-Bissessar has shown, allegiance to the United States as opposed to being aligned with CARICOM. Now, there's been years of work been done at the CARICOM level to allow for small island states to unite in order to have that prominent voice on global matters, particularly matters of the U.S. entering Trinidad and Tobago waters in what we see as being a potential war. The Caribbean has always been deemed a zone of peace. Trinidad and Tobago choosing the U.S. over CARICOM, where does that place us?
Yeah, we should. We should, as I said with U.S. and Venezuela, you're correct. We should not be picking sides because there's no need for us to pick sides. CARICOM's concern with the United States action has nothing to do with CARICOM and Trinidad and Tobago. That's CARICOM's view of the United States. Trinidad and Tobago is an independent country, just as every country in CARICOM. There's no thing as a federation. That ended before it began, when 10 minus 1 left 0. So, and again, you know what? Again, what we forget is that 3 countries in CARICOM made an open decision to state that they were supporting Venezuela without the input of Trinidad and Tobago. So it is okay for certain CARICOM countries to have given their view in advance by stating that we're an independent country, we support Venezuela in this impasse. But if Trinidad and Tobago says we support somebody else, well, not that we support the United States in the impasse, but we we work with the United States, then it becomes a problem. I think CARICOM is quite correct to state that that the area is a zone of peace. It must remain a zone of peace. But CARICOM also needs to understand that Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago, we are being affected by a country that seems to be bullying. Look at what they have done to Guyana. They have openly threatened to seize land from Venezuela. Where's CARICOM on this? Where's the situation of, is it that when our neighbor's house is on fire, we're going to wet our own? You've seen what Venezuela have been doing to Guyana, and not one leader in CARICOM has stood firm to say, I am going to support Guyana on this. You touch one, you touch all. Trinidad and Tobago have become next now, with Venezuela threatening not to be involved in anything with the energy sector, with Trinidad and Tobago accusing us of having terrorists, stating that they are going to invade Trinidad and Tobago to extract these terrorists, having LaGuardia National invade Trinidad and Tobago's territorial waters, attacking our fishermen. Where's CARICOM and all of that? So CARICOM those other islands could stay up north, and they are not affected by what Venezuela is doing to Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. So it is hope, however, that there must be dialogue between all leaders of CARICOM. We must not isolate ourselves from CARICOM, because CARICOM must also understand if Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, they are affected, it is going to affect CARICOM, whether it becomes trade, investment, or whatever. So CARICOM must understand that if we are hurt, and you can't say, well, we always said that we supporting Venezuela and we are against the United States, so don't touch us. It's not going to happen that way. I will strongly recommend an emergency meeting at CARICOM, not just with the prime ministers, because none of them have any type of military training in preparation for what may take place. It requires the chiefs of defense staff and so forth for them to meet to understand how this can and should work. You call it a zone of peace. It cannot be a zone of peace when a country continues to invade our territorial waters and attack our fishermen. You cannot call it a zone of peace when a country in South America has accused a country in CARICOM of harboring terrorists, and you intend to invade that country to extract these terrorists if you see fit. So CARICOM needs to understand the situation Trinidad and Tobago is in, whilst at the same time Trinidad and Tobago needs to appreciate the fact that we can't just isolate ourselves from CARICOM, because we would be affected as well. This requires dialogue, collaboration, and some degree of mutual respect between countries in CARICOM.
Right, but just to put it out there, during that time of the conflict between Venezuela and Guyana, there were a number of CARICOM countries who came to the fore to, just suggest that they facilitate those peace talks and those negotiations to ensure that those things go smoothly. So we have had those interventions of countries, putting themselves on the front line to ensure that things stay peaceful.
Correct, yes.
Right?
But yes, you're correct.
I want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions and bringing some of those perspectives that many persons may not have had or heard before as it pertains to this current conflict between the United States and Venezuela, and where do we stand as a country if, in fact, there is a war that may occur. Are we prepared? And what if Venezuela turns on Trinidad and Tobago in a situation where they feel like they cannot fight the United States? And so we are hoping to continue to hear more from the government on some of the policies and conversations that will be happening moving forward. And we hope that, diplomacy will be the order of the day as opposed to armed force. Again, we want to thank you so much for being here and always being open to having these discussions. Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a great day.